Hallo Andreas.
Hallo Elisabeth.
Wen hast du denn heute mitgebracht?
Ich habe heute Bérangère Fromont mitgebracht und das Buch Accept the Clouds. Können ja alle mal kurz Hallo sagen. Wir sind heute
Wir haben einen
an
Gast,
Tage.
das ist ja super.
For the first time we have a guest and we're happy to welcome you and speak about your book and this work. We already had one episode with you where we talked about this book, L'amour seul brisera nos cœurs.
No cœur.
L'amour seul brisera nos cœurs. Yeah, it's always strange when we mix languages, but also today we're gonna mix a little bit of French and English and maybe some German words. But we're gonna try it. It's an experiment.
Okay, I start flipping through the book.
Yeah. Just a few facts. This book was published in 2018. It's with a French fold binding. 14.
Which means that the pages are like this.
Probably. It's 14 to 21 centimeters, 112 pages. The edition was 500 copies, and it's designed by João Linneo and was made together with Myrto Steiru, and they're both running the Athens distribution. No, the Athens publishing house Void, and the book was released in 2018.
Okay, but I think that's an interesting point that you came from Paris to, yeah, maybe not even to photograph. We come back to that later. But you made a book about Athens, but it was published not in France but in Athens.
How was it happening that you worked together with Void?
It's because I was photographing by day the street of Athens, and when I was working, I met Myrto. But she recognized me in the street and she wrote to me and on the Facebook, I think, and she told me that she saw me in the street and she wanted to meet me. So it was a nice surprise. And I go to their place in Athens. They have a place like a small bookshop and a space like where you can do a talk and a little exhibition. So it's a nice place. I think maybe now they have another place bigger than this one, a true bookshop. But at this time it was a small place, and we met. They were talk at this moment with a Brazilian photographer, and we have a very good feeling. And she proposed me to make a book together, and I didn't yet begin this work. So it was. I was really lucky to have a publisher for this work, and it was like a destiny. I have to do this work. I have no choice anymore.
Yeah, so they trusted you a lot because the work you didn't began the work, but they wanted to make a book with you, no matter what you're doing there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a big.
So they put a lot of trust in.
Of course.
That's cool.
That's the first time I meet them, so it's crazy for me that they want like that to work.
Yeah. And in your past works, the subject of resistance was always a huge point in your work, and also in this work, there is a connection because it deals also with the demonstrations and revolts in Athens, and it's also about resistance. So it's a continuation about this subject. Can you please tell us something about this work? How did you get to this work in the beginning?
Yes. When the first time I go to Athens, it wasn't for making picture or project. It was just to see a friend of mine who were in Athens at this moment, and I wasn't in a good state of mind because it was after the 6 months after the Bataclan, and I was deciding. I had deciding stop photography because it was a big shock for me, and after that I didn't see why doing photography. What is the sense of to doing art? I didn't see anything. It was like everything was black, and it was impossible for me to find a project, to involve in a project. So
I read in an interview that you said the next picture just could be black.
yes, it was really like I feel how to put light in something.
Yeah.
And so I go to Athens, but I took my camera, but I wasn't sure to use it. And after 1 week, maybe, I was like completely in love with the town. I stay in Exarchia with an anarchist comment dire, autogéré?
Autonomous
Yes.
ruled,
Autonomous. Yes. Run.
Neighborhood. Yeah.
Yes, and so it was a lot of humanity and of solidarity and I saw what I like in the humanity. So I was every day I feel better and better, and I begin to think to work and to make another project with Athens, thanks to this place.
Yeah.
So I took my camera and I was walking in the street all the day, very long walk. And for me it was like ces marches, c'était un petit peu comme faire un chemin intérieur pour aller vers la guérison, enfin vers sortir aussi de la dépression.
Was a healing process, marching in the city, taking pictures.
Yeah, what I find so interesting is that you walked through the city, but the pictures are rather, I wouldn't say abstract, but they're very close and they have really clear forms in them.
Very geometric.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they are very clear, but they don't really show so much. So what I perceive is more about an atmosphere, or maybe, I don't know, I don't find it either symbolic too much. So I see something, but it's not clear what it means.
Some kind of a feeling. Maybe.
Yes. Yes, I just photography the small subject or details that bring me to this sentence that I didn't talk yet.
Wait, I'm gonna read it. It's a quote from Walter Benjamin. In a landscape where nothing was recognizable except the clouds, and in the middle, in a field of forces, crossing tensions and destructive explosions, the tiny and fragile human body.
Yes, I was looking at something who looks like it's this sentence in the street, what I see. So I'm looking for fragility, and darkness, obscure, or comment dire, des choses brutes. Et le contraste entre les deux, à chaque fois, c'est dans chaque image quelque chose comme ça que je vais aller chercher. Et here it's the little bird, of course. We see that it's moving.
Because it says the fragile human body, but the first body that we see is the bird.
I know.
Yeah,
But
I like that.
That's now you understand why I put it, because it's like the most fragile thing I can see at this moment. So human body appears after, but
Yeah. Yeah, we will talk about that, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first photograph because the first one is the clouds.
yeah, it's a serigraphic.
The first in the after the title.
Yeah. But the first of my editing is I always begin with this picture in the editing, but in the process, it was another picture was the starting point of the project. It's in the antique ruins.
You can also say
It's always hard to find.
Yeah, I think I just said it before. But
More at the end.
maybe you want to.
Yeah. It's, sorry. I'm gonna find it. Ah. So this picture is the first of the project. When the first I decided to keep and to begin this project, because we can see it's not the bird, but it's the light here who seems really fragile. And the light is in the morning. At the moment, very short. You have this light here, but it like maybe it's spend 10 minutes, not more. And you have this moving light in the colossal big colonnes antiques qui sont là depuis des siècles et des siècles. Et dessus, on a cette petite lumière très légère et scintillante et éphémère. Et je voulais ce contraste-là.
Okay. So it was a special moment for you to see the slide and to have. So it feels like this picture gives you a little bit back, brings you back hope.
Yes.
And the envie de faire la photographie.
C'est ça. When I saw this, I was sitting in the ground and I was feeling good. And it was the first time I felt good since the Bataclan. So I said, okay, now I will do this project. And when I just saw my picture at home when I developed the film, so in Paris, not in Athens. So when I saw this picture, I decided that I want to search that again and again in the street of Athens to finish this project.
And why did you put this black part in the image?
I decided the black is not something I put at the beginning of the process. It was something who comes later in the reflection. And after I had my editing, I begin to work with this black. Black is always in my work, but it's not just for that. It's because I didn't want that the book is a documentary, and I want to comment dire. This black is like my vision of the darkness who's going to disappear. So black is less or more important in different moments of the book, because there are different moments of the book where I was seeing light better or less.
Yeah, but it also changes very much the reception of space in the picture.
Yes, completely.
Especially in a picture like that, where it's photographed during the day, but it has a black sky, which gives quite a confusing impression, I think.
But I do this black like something very. It's very sharp. You can immediately see that it's not. It's not natural. You see the line very clearly, and I wanted that it's like that, that we see immediately that it's something strange. And
so this is also to say to make a difference between documentary photography and
and réappropriation.
To make a claim like this is my subjective view and this is my intervention as an artist in this picture.
And all this book is just my vision of an artist. It's not. I'm not saying what is Athens. It's just me at this moment. Tu sais, en fait, le noir là, il a l'impression, ils ont rajouté une couche de vernis. Il a été imprimé 2 fois.
Ah, d'accord. So they printed 2 times on the picture for the black part.
Just because usually it's not so black when you.
It's another layer. For it to be very very black because the paper is drinking all the anchor.
Interesting choice for the paper. It's very rough. Can you tell us something about this?
The Myrto has chosen the paper. She tell me by phone because I wasn't in Athens but in Paris that she find a paper and she was really happy with this paper because she said to me that it's as dirty as the street of Athens. So she said to me, I hope you will love it, and you have just to know that this paper will change your picture. It's not going to reflect the perfection of your picture, but it will be imperfect. It will be completely different, and all the books will be different because you will be alive in kind of way in the book.
And it's really rough when you
touch it. It's really special, and it makes the book heavy and very. We have something in the end, and I love that way.
You told me the production of the book cost the life of 3 printers, right?
Yes, 2 or 3, I don't remember, but I remember that the printer was really, really upset. So we have to launch the book at Polycopy this year, and it was like Myrto called me and said, I don't know if we can have it because he broke 2 printers and nobody wanted to do it again. So it was stressful. But we have it.
Let us talk a little bit maybe of the different time layers we have in this work because it's somehow it's a perspective in the past, but very strongly connected with the present and the struggles or crisis we have in present times, but also connected to the past. Can you tell me or tell us more about the different layers in the book? Because we have these antique ruins, the mythological history of the region, but also we have this reality. There's a portrait of a young Athens man living there, and can you tell a little bit about these connections?
Yes, it was like I say at the beginning, different layers of reading. You can see because I mixed the antique ruin with capitalist ruins, and my thought was what. Je vais le dire en français.
Oui.
Qu'est-ce qui reste? Qu'est-ce qui reste après quand tout a disparu? Et qu'est-ce qui disparaît et qu'est-ce qui reste? C'est exactement. Une ruine, c'est ça. C'est quelque chose qui a été détruit et qui en même temps résiste. Et qu'est-ce qui résiste? En général, ce sont justement ce qui a été très bien construit et la géométrie. Ça a été quelque chose qui m'a rassurée en fait. J'avais l'impression que le monde s'effondrait et tout à coup de voir des ruines antiques et de sentir cette géométrie du de leur construction, ça m'a rassurée et ça a permis que je recommence à désirer photographier.
So it's a question also about what's going to disappear and what's going to stay, and that ruins are things which are destroyed somehow, but they stay in the cityscape, and this geometrical forms gives you some kind of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And and it was about this question: what stays and what disappears, and but it's interesting because you have a lot of different ruins. So you have the antique ruins, which are in the cityscape of Athens, but you also have the modern ruins, like here in this image, or like ruins of capitalism, because these are like probably speculative
It's true.
Immobilienprojekte, which like buildings which are ruins even before
They exist.
They exist, yeah, because
they are never used.
they're never finished, and they're ruins, and they're in the cityscape, and then they have these different layers of ruins. And for me, this picture is also like a marker for a capitalist system, which leads to the protests, which I can't write right now, but like this, or which is strongly connected to the reality of this young man. Here.
Yeah.
So this is. And then when you look back at the ruins of the past, the antique ruins, you can easily connect these struggles from the present to the historical struggles of humanity in the history, which also, like you said, repeats.
Continuellement.
Yeah. This is found footage, right?
Yes.
And you put it in a different layout than the other photographs because they are from a different source, or?
Yes, that all these images are screenshots from TV, médias, enfin des journaux télévisés que j'ai trouvés sur YouTube de l'époque quand la crise a commencé à Athènes.
So broadcast images, news,
Yes.
news.
And j'ai capturé juste des petits moments, j'ai pareil agrandi des détails. Et je me suis réapproprié en fait ces images parce que pour moi elles étaient importantes. C'était important qu'elles apparaissent parce qu'avant d'aller à Athènes, j'avais ces images en tête de Athènes avant que j'y aille pour la première fois. Et je me suis rendu compte qu'en fait toutes les images qu'on peut nous donner, qu'elles soient vraies ou fausses, ça reste dans le cerveau comme des souvenirs. Alors qu'en fait, je ne sais même pas si ça a existé. Mais ça a formé une espèce de vision fausse, mais qui était là, dans mes souvenirs. Donc j'ai voulu les inclure comme des souvenirs, en fait. D'où le côté évanescent.
So you had the impression that you already knew the city, or because of the news images, you had a certain image of the city before you went there, and these memories you wanted to include in the book, even if these memories are maybe not telling the truth about the place, but they are somehow in the back of your mind when you went there for the first time, that okay, I know the city because of the riots so well, or I have the impression I know it so well.
Yeah, and if you look at them very closely, you will realize that there is really not much information in them. You cannot recall the events only from the photos or from the pictures. You need a lot more information to understand.
Yes, and you can imagine that it's now. You can't say when it happened. It can happen yesterday or
It has no time.
And,
Yes.
and the way you edit, you work on them, like you make it a little bit darker, and it's very soft and grainy, and this has also something that's from fading out, like a memory which is fading
Yes.
out.
Yes.
And
Because the time, il y a une réflexion sur le temps qui passe aussi.
and today, when we talked about this work with some students, one of the students, he said the picture of the portraits are the same way processed than this one, and so this is also a choice you made to make a connection, like
Yes.
memory of something is fading, but also
And
maybe
also, this guy and what he represents, is like vanishing, c'est ça? Because dans la situation de la Grèce à ce moment-là, il n'y avait vraiment aucun avenir pour la jeunesse. Donc c'est comme si c'était des fantômes en fait qui traversent la ville et le pays.
also there was no hope, no future for
For the young
generation at that time, and maybe still today. And this is also like the reference of fading out, like this is about existence.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you said you took those photographs, or you included them in the project because of the present of young people.
Yes.
And when I looked at it first, for me it was also, of course I saw it's a present picture and it's now, but it also refers so much to the antique times. For me. The young man as who is pictured so often in antique sculptures and so. So I
Completely. That's why I chose him.
yeah.
And because his name is Odysseus.
Ah, okay. So this is a very
Makes sense.
concrete link to another.
We need some.
So it's interesting because when you look at them, I don't know, in an order of appearance. I don't know if I missed one, but I think you have. It has a certain fragility. Also, what you said in the beginning, that you're interested in finding these fragile moments because he's protecting himself. You can see the shadow of his face protecting against the super bright light of the sun, and looking down, looking in the sun, but covering or try to look in the sun, which is impossible, and try to cover his face. And
C'est un côté tragique en fait.
Yeah, it's
dans une tragédie grecque. Quel est ton destin et l'impossibilité de le changer.
Greek tragedy. Yeah, and here you
Mais il
hear
essaye quand même.
essay, and he looks there in this image. He looks right in the camera, but this refers also to the quote, like to the tiny and fragile human body and all this chaos, which is here right now.
Yeah, but it also refers to the light that we have in so many pictures.
With the sun, yes.
With the sun, yeah. It is so very light, and that you contrast it with the black.
And because
Paradoxy. So.
Yeah, and I think that's all these layers. They are, how to say, contra-intuitive. So things that seem so present refer to the past, and things that seem
everything is
old refer to the maybe even the future. Yeah.
I try to do that. I want everything is ce mélange. And j'ai travaillé sur la lumière du soleil, qui était très importante dans ce projet parce que c'est la première chose qui nous marque quand on est à Athènes, c'est à quel point la lumière est aveuglante.
So the first experience you make when you come to Athens is that the light is so bright that it blinds you.
Donc elle révèle plein de contrastes très forts. et dont les mêmes contrastes que je vais moi-même utiliser dans les photos après. Et ce côté qui m'intéresse du soleil qui éclaire et qui en même temps aveugle de la même façon. Et donc, pareil, c'est encore un contraste.
So the contrast is between the super bright light, which creates super dark shadows, and the high contrast, and this is also connects very well to your first reflections, what you were searching there. You were searching for light in the darkness, or in the ruins of Athens, so to say. And and this is the light which is like necessary to see can also blind you.
Yeah, and the same thing happens with the frame. I think this what you see in the light or don't see in the shadow or don't see in the light because it's too bright.
Yes.
You repeat in the composition or the frame that you don't really see the city.
Yes. Yes. That's
You
why
exclude a lot of things. There's a lot of things not to see, but what you see is so clear. But when you see it, it's very clear, but it's not at all clear what it means. It's very open what it means. Yeah.
C'est ce que j'ai essayé de faire. Oui. I tried to do that, to play with that, all these meanings and disapparition and blindness.
And what does this mean?
This is
the image layers with the objects.
This is something I found dans les terrains vagues, in the street, because c'est les restes des maisons qui ont été cassées et des ruines contemporaines qui sont sur le sol. Il y a beaucoup de terrains vagues dans la ville. Et c'est aussi donc c'est des choses, des maisons qui ont été détruites, des bâtiments. Et c'est aussi utilisé par les manifestants pour casser d'autres maisons, enfin, et se battre, et casser la ville, et casser d'autres éléments de la ville. Donc en fait, il y a quelque chose qui se...
C'est un cercle.
C'est un cercle constamment, de construction et de destruction, mais avec les mêmes éléments tout le temps.
So these are objects which you found on abandoned places in the city, parts of houses which are destroyed, and then objects which are used then again from demonstrates as weapons or tools for destruction or creation.
For construction, but also for as weapons or as. And I think this is what I like so much about this picture. So apart from all the visual attraction it has, that it has too, it reminds me a lot of the worker of August Sander with the bricks that he's carrying. I think they have. Yeah, it reminds me of it from how the shape of the bricks and the light. Then it makes the connection between all the construction places and the ruins. And at the same time, I could take them and throw them in a demonstration also. Yes. So it has, in one photograph, so many things come together that are laid out before in the other photographs, of course.
Et elle était en miroir de la photo de la pierre seule de l'agora.
The speaker's corner.
Yeah. Ok. Je voulais la faire en miroir de cette image-là parce que ici on a une pierre qui est dans l'agora. Il faut payer pour aller la voir. C'est ultra protégé, ultra préservé. Et en même temps, on a celle-là à côté qui sont où on peut se dire mais pourquoi, quelle est la différence finalement entre ces ruines et ces ruines? Et celles-ci sont traités comme des poubelles.
So this is like an artifact, something with value, which is protected, and this is like trash. And but there's a difference. It's a different form. It's a different shape. Yeah.
And you have to pay to see this.
You have
Yes.
to pay to see this. Yeah.
Maybe we should read what's on
At
it.
the Ogre.
Can you read it?
D'accord.
I can read it. Speakers platform. Yeah, this is some historical artifact from the Agora or Pnyx. It's an antique assembly place where politics and conversation was made, and it's considered as the birthplace of democracy. And it's not far away from the Acropolis, and I think this place is gonna be dated like 407 before Christ, so it's really, really old. But it makes for me a total sense to have it in this book as an object for this mirroring what you said, but also for these political fights we have here, because this is like the basis of democracy, so somehow, and this is maybe the fight for more justice politic these days, like so many hundreds and thousands of years later, and this is super interesting connection, I think.
Je viens d'avoir une idée en parlant de ça, c'est que finalement c'est un peu les manifestants de quartier d'Exarchia, notamment à Exarchia parce que c'est vraiment particulier et qu'ils sont ultra actifs, c'est comme si ça bouillonnait constamment, comme un feu qu'on essaie de garder allumé, et tout le temps ils sont en train de lutter pour conserver des droits et surtout, c'est à ça que je viens de penser, de préserver cette démocratie, ce qui était beau et fort à l'origine, qui est en train de disparaître. Et eux, c'est un peu comme si c'était les derniers gardiens finalement de cette vision de l'humanité, de quelque chose de très précieux qui est en train de disparaître.
So it's also this link, especially with the demonstrants and this very active politic neighborhood or area of the city, and it's like there's a constant fire, a constant fight against injustice and for a more human orientated society, and you just said that they are like guardians of the values in the region, what democracy should be like.
And what is interesting in the way that they fight, it's always something they never hurt people physically. It's always against like bank or things like that, and they call the police and say, okay, we will do things here, tells to everybody to go away, and that's important. It's really against a system.
And I think also that this is a form of this being active politically, and these forms of demonstrations and process is also a contribution, I think, to democracy or to political work, or like especially when you need to be visible or listened to, or you need to show what the struggles or problems are if people in power doesn't care about it so much.
Yeah, and this one for me is another hint to the visual quality of our surroundings. And say that even if in the most unspectacular place you will find spectacular photographs, and this holds all of this together in a very interesting way.
just let it like it was, because it still has this geometric symbol inside.
Yeah, and I also like this. You have the ruins and you have the construction, and both in a very focused way. And they don't really come together in one picture, but in the series of the photographs.
Yes.
And in one interview, you said something I really like, and really also the book really works in this book. You said this work is a reflection about the contemporary. The contemporary is the past, the present, and the future, but also the subjective and the objective. And photography makes it possible for us to put everything on the same level. And you said this book is like a fresco of a bigger moment, a bigger picture. Because I think this is true, and of course this book deals with a certain region, only on that region, but it stands for something bigger, because it's not only happening in this region, these kind of problems, and so I really liked it.
I think we can feel it in Paris nowadays.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, and not only in Paris, but and when I make research about books, I think it's always helpful to start with the publishing house and to see what they write about the book. And Voigt wrote about the book Except the Clouds is a work about Athens, but not only. It's mostly it's a reflection about the place of the humanity or a human in a civilization which is about to disappear, and its fragility.
Yeah, I think we have said all this now. While
We could make it in one
the
sentence.
book, okay, next time.
Next time.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's I think it's not so easy to make a conclusion, a short conclusion about this work, because it's so complex on different levels.
And it already starts. You have this cutout, and behind you see the photograph of the inside of the.
And the cutout is the shape of the stone.
That we have seen.
So the
And
geometry and the time
Then
passing.
we have this text, except the clouds, and then they come together in the exact same spaces on the page, all at once. And then we have this. I don't even know what it is, but I also always thought it was a construction site with some wooden stuff and a bird, and also here's some graffiti on the. I'm not sure whether you can see it on the screen. And this is so much Greece for me. In, I don't know, classic.
That's why I put
pictures. And then we have the whole world in one.
I like we have this.
And then we meet the guy for the first time.
And I think about something I didn't. Yes, my the first title I find for the book, but I changed it after. It was Always the Sun.
Always the sun.
But I saw that there is different project was its name.
Okay.
And after I seem to cut the sentence of Benjamin. And it was the same meaning. Always, except the clouds, always the sun.
When we talked yesterday about this book, you had an interesting reflection about the sky, actually. Can you remember what you said? because there are some pictures of the
of the clouds.
of the clouds and of the sky, and it refers to the title.
I have this one and another one.
Yeah.
They are from the plane.
So how does these images interact with the rest
They are
of
the clouds, and they are like the background. It's the clouds. They are always there. So
You always hear like the sun; they're untouchable.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, we look up and no matter where we are, we see
the same.
the sky or the clouds.
There's always this meaning. And the first view I had from Athens when I came.
Sun and clouds in contrast.
I just wanted to, to how we go out
Of the book?
of the book.
Yeah, of course, this is important.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the
I
last.
finished with him, yes,
Yeah.
and he looked at us.
For the first time, he looks into the camera.
It's like positive.
Contemporary of the source.
Yeah, and these are.
I think it's a positive end. I want him to take the strongest position.
Yeah.
So here we have again the light and the very geometric forms. Then we have again a scene
And
from
it was in the
windows.
ground, like very hiding.
Then we have the floor again with certain structure, but also a broken
But it's a
structure.
road. It's
And-
still a road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the sky. Yeah, you look so precisely to the ground on many pictures, and you look up. It's still
And very far away.
Yeah, I think we said a lot now to this book. Do you want to add something, or do you think we missed something?
Non, ouais. À chaque fois que je parle de ce livre, je vois moi-même des nouvelles choses qui font connexion ensemble. Et c'est très intéressant parce que des fois, je les oublie, même moi je les oublie, et c'est simplement en en parlant que d'autres arrivent constamment. Donc je suis assez contente de ça. Que même 5 ans après, j'ai toujours ça me renvoie vers des nouvelles idées, des nouvelles choses.
So this is also an interesting observation that 5 years after this work, every time you talk about it with others or look at the work, you find new connections and new meanings and ideas for yourself. This is, I think, very nice.
This is nice when the work gets bigger than everything we could ever have thought of.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a good power of this
And
work.
you tell me things new about my book, so, and people generally, so that's why we do this kind of work.
Yeah.
And you will exhibit this work next year, right, in Germany?
Yeah.
In Berlin. So if you're in Berlin around March, go to the European Month of Photography main exhibition, and there you can see this work exhibited.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For joining us and for opening your heart to us.
Thanks to you.
Thank you. Machen wir aus, ja.